It's just seismic.
The Dobbs decision by the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and from that, the constitutional right to an abortion was taken away.
A constitutional right that's been in place for half a century.
This is one of the most significant historic decisions in modern times.
As people reacted to this historic decision, there is an effort to understand its full impact. What does it mean for America?
On June the 24th, 2022, 9 justices voted on a decision. A decision that wound back the clock more than half a century. A decision which impacted the fates of tens of millions of women. A decision which is tearing America apart. The full consequences of this seismic change are only just being felt. We want to understand what's at stake, and so we're going to meet an activist who was part of the original movement that fought to legalise abortion 50 years ago.
My name is Merle Hoffman, and I am a second-class citizen of the United States.
She founded Choices, one of the first legal abortion clinics in the US.
Have to get their attention some way, so it's pretty big. Yes, it's pretty large.
Choices predate the Roe v. Wade ruling that protected the nationwide right to abortion.
Throughout all of the years and the decades where I was evicted twice, I had multiple death threats. Doctors were murdered. Even with that and the invasions and everything, we had Roe. So many people in the pro-choice movement trusted that nothing could stop Roe v. Wade. It wasn't a worry. And then it happened. It meant the death of the whole architecture and edifice of women's health care. This is a very important, transcendent, critical right, and that's the right that you have to bodily autonomy, to accurate, safe, compassionate women's health care, and to legal, safe abortion.
In the US, there are 13 states with total abortion bans, most of them in the South. So today we're travelling to Bristol, a divided city that straddles Virginia, where abortion is legal, and Tennessee, where it is not.
Excuse me. Good morning, Bristol Women's Health. This is Terry. May I help you?
This clinic is just down the road from the Tennessee state line, and so it's become the closest abortion provider for large parts of the southeast. People travel hundreds of miles to come here.
I have protesters that stand on the corner of the driveway and across the street. 10 out of 10 do not recommend stopping and talking to them. Pull on in our parking lot. We generally will have clinic defenders in the parking lot, and they're out there to walk you in and deal with the protesters, okay?
Okay, we're going to have to go to a walk.
Get out of the driveway! Come on.
We try to be the Walmart greeter of the parking lot, just communicating through body language and our tone of voice that we are the normal people, all of us, and they are not normal, and you are safe here.
But the umbrellas are just to help protect their privacy, and if they're scared, we can reassure them that these people yell at everyone, you're not special.
The protesters dress in similar clothes to the clinic escorts and try to intercept patients before they can pull in.
You're working aggressively up and down the street to try to stop you there.
All right, I got you confirmed, and we'll see you tomorrow. You're welcome. Bye-bye. I mother them all. It's ridiculous. I get hugs and I give free hugs. That's kind of what my deal is. I have a sticker on my window that says free hugs, and if you want to go through it giggling, let's giggle. If you want to go through it crying, I'll hand you a tissue. If you want to go through it cussing, girl, I'll teach you some new words. Whatever works for them. Excuse me. Good morning, Bristol Women's Health. This is Terry. May I help you?
I believe it's anywhere from 95 to 97% of the patients that we see here in Bristol, Virginia, are not Virginia residents.
It's a huge amount.
It is. It's the majority. Today, we had a patient from every single state, the Southeast, the United States.
And how long are these kind of drives?
I think the longest one today, she drove 10 and a half hours.
Just to get here?
Yeah.
What's that impact going to have on women then? Are you going to see a higher mortality rate? Are women going to die?
I think they already are, and this procedure shouldn't be stigmatized. It is just basic health care. I just wish that abortion care was normal, and I wish that physicians that provided abortion care were just your regular OBGYNs.
Come on, get up here. Women come in here and don't know if they're safe. Where else in medical field do you not know that you're safe coming to the doctors? Excuse me. Good morning, Bristol Women's Health. This is Terry. May I help you?
Demand is so great that they are now opening on evenings and weekends, which has only made them more of a target for the anti-abortion movement.
You give birth to that child, and if that child dies in your arms, and that child has died in the arms of a loving mother, not ripped to pieces and thrown away like common garbage.
We're begging you not to murder your child!
Have you threatened anyone with murder charges over this?
If anybody is involved with the murder of this child, if it's the mother, the father, the grandfather, whoever, we want them charged with murder.
See, God is holy, just, and righteous.
Do you worry that you intimidate people as they come in and they feel scared?
I don't think so. In God's word, it says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It's a warning sign to warn us of impending danger.
Protesters outside will find any reason to get rid of us.
You're here today to kill that child.
Don't come so hard. That's not what I heard. So open the door. You know what I heard? You're going to hell.
All right. Well,
come on. Come on. It's hard enough.
Are you worried as this progresses?
They know me by name, and so that can be a little scary.
So you're worried they might find out where you live?
Yes. I drive a car that blends in so I don't stand out. I take different routes home. I look at every single window. I take a peek. Could anybody be inside? When I go to a restaurant, I scan it. And if I recognize a protester, I'm not sitting at that restaurant. It's just become part of how I live.
At clinics, I typically will carry a firearm with me. When I pull up to the clinic, I typically will hold my firearm, finger off the trigger, but ready to go if I feel like I have a threat. Physician in the Western United States, he used to wear a bulletproof vest and would get cards in the mail from anti-abortion people and protesters, and essentially the cards said, "Don't worry with the bulletproof vest because we're gonna go for a headshot." So I think he stopped wearing his vest.
Across the state line in Tennessee, a strict abortion ban has been in place since Roe v. Wade was overturned.
I was 11 weeks and 6 days, and I had my first ultrasound. And then my doctor walks in and was like, "The baby you're pregnant with is not viable. There are no skull bones, and the brain is floating in the amniotic fluid, and it is not going to survive no matter what." So I was like, with these new laws in place, what does this mean?
Is it delicious?
She did tell me if I were to help you, I would go to jail. And at that time, I really wanted to say, I don't care.
Brianna was presented with a choice no mother should have to make. Carry a child to term knowing it would immediately die a painful death, or fight against the new laws to safely terminate her pregnancy.
So I started doing my own research, and I would just, like in the parking lot before work, would like call these places just like crying. And one lady I remember made me so mad because she was like, "We're not doing elective abortions." And I was like, "What makes you think that this is an elective abortion?" And so I just hung up on her.
It sounds like you were told this information about your baby, and then all of a sudden you've got to call 20 clinics, drive across the country. There's no moment to be a human in that, right?
No, and I still feel like that now because I'm still like dealing with it, and even telling my friends about it, and they didn't even know that this was real and this happened and these laws were in place. They're like, I had no idea. that this is what happens.
Brianna endured a 14-hour round trip to carry out her abortion. But after returning to Tennessee, she was hospitalized with a life-threatening infection. Her doctors found leftover tissue from the fetus.
I remember waking up and just like looked down and saw like all of these staples like down me and like huge tubes coming out of me. Later on, my doctor said the infection was so bad that when we opened you up, it took our breath away because it was all inside of you.
After a grueling 10-day stay in the hospital, Brianna returned home and now may never be able to conceive again. She believes the delay in getting an abortion, the long travel, and the lack of continuity of care piled pressure on her body.
I remember telling the doctors and nurses, like, did I do something wrong? Like, what did I do to deserve this? And one like looked me in the face and was like, you did nothing wrong. Like, I have seen babies been born with anencephaly and acrania, and they have gas for air until they die in front of their parents, and that is something I wish on no one. And she was like, you saved your child, you did not harm him. It's torturous.
Honestly, I'm kind of speechless listening to this.
I would never want to do that to anyone.
Do you have any questions? I do. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do...
Stories like this are all too familiar to doctors like Laura Andreessen, who believes the effects of these bans are endangering women's lives. One of Laura's patients, who's desperate to have a second child, has had multiple miscarriages.
You said this is your 8th pregnancy?
This is my 8th pregnancy. None of my other pregnancies have progressed.
She says the strict ban meant she was left bleeding in an ER, while doctors were forced to wait until her baby's heartbeat stopped before helping her.
We are 150.
How did you feel at that moment where you weren't sure with the confusion over the legislation, and did that add extra stress to?
Yes, absolutely. That was so scary, and when I got there, we just kept having to do ultrasound after ultrasound to keep confirming that there was no chance that pregnancy could continue. As much as I would love to be able to say I could have had that child, even though I was in so much pain, they had to keep running tests and keep running tests, though I just really needed treatment. The reality of pregnancy is not every pregnancy will continue.
When Roe first fell, I was terrified. I mean, I literally was just distraught because it just created this whole gray area that we didn't know how to navigate, and no one knew how to navigate it. There were patients sitting in ERs for 10 hours while the doctors consulted legal teams. And so those decisions were being made, and then you would hope like crazy that no one was coming after you.
Do you feel then that you effectively could be criminalized for your job?
Absolutely. Every time a patient comes in bleeding at 16 weeks, 18 weeks, 20 weeks, there's risk.
Facing potential felony charges and a 15-year jail sentence, like many other doctors and hospitals, Laura had to seek legal help just to do her job.
Well, I had retained the lawyer, so I had specific language I used in my charting and tried to document to the best of my ability why I was making the decision I was making.
So you actually hired a lawyer because you were so concerned? So you actually on a retainer?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Yes. I just didn't trust that it was going to be okay. There's some protection in bigger systems, but I'm in a small community hospital. I feel like I would be a perfect target. Our malpractice insurance, our lawyers don't cover this. This is a felony charge. This is a criminal charge. Will you save my life? If I'm dying, will you help me? And I've been asked that multiple times, and I feel like I would, but in the back of my mind, I just always remember, like, how fair is that to my family? If I were to be charged, if I were to get a felony, because everything would be destroyed, and that's a hard thing to weigh.
Is the problem here then that the word abortion, which has got this like huge stigma over it, is just, I mean, it's such a big term, right?
The A word has been weaponized, and that is unfortunate.
Laura has joined a lawsuit challenging Tennessee's near-total abortion ban. It argues that the law needs to expand and clarify the exceptions for medical conditions to allow doctors to provide life-saving care without fear of prosecution.
I talked to my husband and my family about it and then decided that it was important to me. I want to be on the right side of history when this all goes down. I want to be known as somebody that stood up and said this is not right for our patients.
All right.
The lead plaintiff in this landmark case is Nicole Blackman. In 2022, Nicole's teenage son, Daniel, was murdered in a random drive-by shooting.
He was on a porch waiting for me to pick him up. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was devastating.
Still reeling from her loss, she found out she was pregnant.
I looked at it as my miracle child.
She was told the baby wouldn't survive outside of the womb and that the pregnancy could kill her.
3 months or so after that, that's when we found out the baby had complications.
Your life was basically in the balance.
It was. I could have just died at any moment. But the doctors cannot help because of this law.
Right.
They have to basically look at you and say, I'm sorry. I felt like nothing. I felt like nothing.
Nicole explored getting an abortion out of state, but couldn't afford to travel. She was forced to give birth to a stillborn child.
I was relieved I made it to labor without dying. But also it hit me with knowing that my child wasn't going to make it. I was going to give birth to a child that wasn't going to live. I did ask the nurse to put a sheet in between me and her, so when I did give labor, I wouldn't see the dead baby coming out. How do you prepare yourself? There was no way of trying to prepare myself, and I was in labor for 32 hours. That's how complicated the situation was.
And you still could have died in any of those hours?
Any of those hours. Knowing that you're going to give birth to a child that's not going to live. How can anyone just be okay with that?
You doing okay?
I am.
If you need a moment, it's a lot.
It is. It's always. I did survive, but I am not healed. I would like for the law to change because there are women that might in the future end up in my situation. And do you think that anyone would have felt any type of way about it that made that law?
You don't think anyone would have cared?
I don't think no one would have cared about it.
Like so many of the bans, Tennessee's was a trigger law. That means it was originally enacted in 2019, but only came into effect after Roe v. Wade was overturned.
Tennessee's bills, in my opinion, were particularly egregious. Everything was forbidden for any reason.
Richard Briggs was one of the Republican state senators who voted for it, an action he now regrets.
I don't know who drafted it, but it certainly was being lobbied and advocated by the Right to Life, which is an unofficial organization. They have been, I'll say, gnawing away or nipping away at that for decades, trying to limit it more and more and more.
Why did you vote for it if you had so many concerns about the fact that there were no exceptions?
I felt like we couldn't have a void where there was nothing if Roe was overturned. It's just that I didn't think it would ever happen. I mean, and I'll admit it. And it's just a fact.
Richard, a retired doctor, wants to change the law. He has tried to table several new bills allowing additional medical exceptions.
people that will probably vote against this bill, they would agree with me, but they're so concerned that you'll have all of this out-of-state money that will come up at the next election time, and there will be TV ads that Representative so-and-so or Senator so-and-so is a baby killer.
The anti-abortion movement is growing in influence across the country. And so we went to meet Evie, an anti-abortion activist. Evie was a teenage single mum when she found out she was pregnant again.
How old are you now?
I was 19. I had him on the 30th of July at 6:26 p.m.
Is that from the hospital?
Yeah.
Unable to support another child, she had to give him up for adoption.
And then here, like, we're kissing him goodbye. So this is about 4 days old. I had to relinquish my rights. I had to place him in the car and then watch as they drove off. It's been 27 years and I will never forget that moment.
What would you say to someone who says they don't have the right to choose or even make that decision when it comes to their lives in a medical situation?
It's probably not going to be the answer that you want to hear. I believe that every life is purposed and every life is valuable. And I would just have to have faith.
Evie's story is a little unusual. When she initially fell pregnant, she was determined to get an abortion. But now she regularly speaks about her experiences at anti-abortion fundraisers across the country.
Not only am I in the Bible Belt, I'm in the buckle of the Bible Belt. And so I had no idea that there was no abortion clinics in Cleveland, Tennessee. So when I looked in the phone book, it said post-abortive counseling. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to go to this place, New Hope Pregnancy Crisis Center, which makes sense. I'm in crisis. I go to a crisis center and I'm going to get rid of my problem because I cannot have this baby.
Evie says she quickly realized New Hope wasn't an abortion clinic, but was a Christian center that actively discouraged terminations. Just before she walked out, they played her a graphic video of an abortion. That changed her mind.
If someone would say you were coerced into not having an abortion, what would your response be to someone who told you that?
I don't feel like it was manipulative. I think it was the truth about what abortion was. Because before I walked in that place, I felt like abortion was the solution to my problem.
The center that Evie went to all those years ago no longer exists. But Evie now fundraises for a new center with the same name that operates nearby. She offers to show us around.
It is the Lord that compelled me to be in this work and to love on others and to be there to say, you can do this.
So this is our ultrasound exam room. Yeah. We're gonna always bring the young lady back first by herself, because
part of our program is our education program. It's 250 courses, something like that. Right. They have the opportunity to earn what we call baby bucks. And with those baby bucks, they come in here and they shop. So everything that they get is free, but they have earned it.
Critics say that centres like New Hope aim to coerce vulnerable people into keeping their pregnancy and are often deliberately misleading.
Do you think there are some that overstep the mark and that there is some valid criticism, or do you think this is coming from a politicised perspective?
I think it's coming from a politicised perspective.
Yeah.
Some of these centres have been accused of giving false information about the impact of abortions and promoting unproven treatments, like the so-called abortion reversal pill.
So as expected, we've got an administrator's number.
What does it say?
Emotional side effects and risks: sadness, anger, guilt, sexual dysfunction, difficulty maintaining relationships, memory repression, increased alcohol and drug abuse, flashbacks, long-term grief, anniversary reactions, and suicidal thoughts. Wow.
These pregnancy centres have become a multi-billion-dollar state-funded industry. State legislators have given over $500 million to them since 2021.
If you want to help mothers with these basic needs, do it, but don't inject religion into it.
Bob Norman has followed these centres in Florida for years.
It's pumping money into what is essentially a political slush fund aimed at empowering religious fundamentalists who are tied in with a certain political party. It's about the takeover of the government by Christian elements.
To better understand the role of the church in this, I've come to meet Kevin Riggs, an activist pastor in Franklin, Tennessee, who grew up as a fundamentalist evangelical.
I tell people I'm a unicorn. I'm a person who believes the Bible and who has conservative theological beliefs, but yet on most social issues, people would look at me as a liberal.
I'm trying to understand how we got here, this legislation, these bans that are quite strict. Can you talk me through that?
Genesis says that God breathed into man and he became a human being. And so there was a belief that the soul didn't enter the body until that child took its first independent breath. Even within evangelical circles then, abortion was allowed. What's happened, it's become not just a moral issue, it's become a religious issue. And among conservative evangelicals, they're wanting their particular religious belief having preferential treatment over everybody else. In the 1970s or so, most evangelicals would have been pro-choice, and abortion, pro-life issues was a Catholic thing, not an evangelical thing.
And it wasn't always a Republican issue, right?
If you look at it, it was an orchestrated plan to start winning elections.
He says that particular strands of Christian nationalism have now become the mainstream as these churches have gained power.
It's in the South, a pastor is still seen as an authority figure. He's not going to say vote for this particular person or that particular person. But I grew up with these voters' guides that basically, here are the issues that you got to vote for, here are the issues that you got to vote against. Now it became pretty obvious it was Republican, Democrat. So you will hear things like, don't vote for anyone who supports abortion.
Pastor Riggs believes that politicians have worked to harness that power, including former President Donald Trump. Where is this going? What are you worried about the future?
The worst thing that can happen is for somebody to think this violence that I'm doing is in the name of God because I'm trying to restore our country to some type of godly past. The only thing worse than war is holy war.
The Faith and Freedom Coalition annual conference is, in its own words, the largest public policy gathering of conservative Christian activists in the US. In the audience, hundreds of people have gathered to hear from the star speaker.
Christians go to church, but they don't vote that much. Do you know the power you have if you would vote?
In 2016 and in 2020, Trump captured the vast majority of the American evangelical vote. He can't win without them.
I took a lot of hits, but we did the right thing. Thanks to these justices, we have also achieved what the pro-life movement fought to get for 49 years, and we've gotten abortion out of the federal government.
Here, the hot topic in the first presidential election since the fall of Roe is imposing a federal abortion ban. A tricky subject for Trump to navigate, given its unpopularity with voters.
It was federal, and they wanted it all back in the states where the people could vote and make their decisions. It's now up to the will of the people in each state. You have to go with your heart. You have to also remember, you have to get elected.
The point is that, we don't need him to be giving pro-life speeches. We just need his signature. We need his signature on good bills that come to his desk. We need his signature on the appointment of judges. And he's going to stay faithful to what he did in his first term. And that's the track that President Trump is setting us on.
2 years after the fall of Roe v. Wade, the pressure is rising on an already fractured society.
What do you know about my uterus, bitch? What about your rights? You obviously like being owned.
This is a healthcare crisis, and we all know who was to blame. Donald Trump.
As the abortion issue has become a key battleground, Kamala Harris has made reproductive rights a central part of her platform.
Vice President Kamala Harris today became the first sitting vice president or president to visit an abortion clinic.
The Democrats are betting on abortion being an easy win for them in this election, particularly in swing states like Florida.
And today, at the stroke of midnight, another Trump abortion ban went into effect here in Florida.
The laws only changed 2.5 months ago. So a lot of times people come in, they're 9 weeks pregnant, and they look at me like, what do you mean you can't do my abortion? I had no idea.
Florida, a state where people once traveled to get an abortion, has now imposed a ban at 6 weeks. That's before most women even know they are pregnant.
People look kind of like dumbstruck. It's because it's just like so shocking, right? They came in thinking they were having an abortion today. And then the first piece is that we couldn't even have provided them an abortion today because we have a waiting period in Florida of 24 hours. But then adding insult to injury, now we have to ask you to go to our nearest state, which is 800 miles away. I think that the devastation and panic that a lot of people feel really can't be overstated.
In the waiting room, one woman getting an abortion today agrees to speak to us anonymously.
When the ultrasound tech told me that I was 5 weeks, 5 days along, I went, phew, and because had I gone a day or two later, I would not have been able to get an abortion.
What's the purpose of this?
Controlling women's bodies. If they can control the womb, then they can control women.
Abortion funds like Jessica's work closely with clinics like this one to step in and help with the crippling costs if patients miss the cutoff point.
Since the 6-week ban has gone into effect, we've probably seen about a 75% increase of people needing to leave the state for care. And some of the most heartbreaking ones have been when they're 6 weeks and 2 days. And if it would have been 2 days sooner, or even 5 days sooner, they could have been seen here.
And it might have saved your fund several $1,000s.
Mm-hmm. And the person, the inconvenience of needing to leave the state.
Can you talk to me about the upper end of just how expensive it is for a later term abortion, including the costs of travel?
So at 6 weeks, that can cost like maybe $500 to someone who needs later care abortion, and that could cost $20,000.
That's a huge difference.
Yes, and that's not taking into account the travel, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And we're seeing more and more people with that need, because all that abortion bans do is keep people pregnant longer. We have the money to meet this crisis. We do not have the money to do this forever, though.
Good morning, this is Ellen from the Women's Center.
Do you see this as a healthcare crisis, really, that goes beyond just whether or not someone can access an abortion?
76% of medical students graduating said they would not go to states that had abortion bans. And we already have a physician shortage. In states that have abortion bans, you're going to see an even worse physician shortage in all specialties. It affects everyone, because if you don't have physicians who want to go to states where there's an abortion ban, you're going to have counties that just don't even have a physician. And so the hospital's close.
This has had the biggest impact on the most marginalised neighbourhoods. The Southern Birth Justice Network is working to fight that. About a third of all counties in the US have no access to maternity care, impacting over 2 million people of reproductive age. They fear the abortion bans will only put more pressure on a buckling system.
A lot of the clients we serve, they don't have proper health care, so they don't know who to ask, how to ask. It's pretty much just eliminating the barrier of transportation issues for clients that may be seeking care.
If I didn't have them, I would be lost in my pregnancy because I wouldn't know where else to go.
They offer free maternity clinics, guidance and support for pregnant people, including for those who may want to terminate their pregnancy. There we meet Cortez, a student midwife and doula.
She has made some great strides.
Oh, good.
I am a full spectrum doula, so that means preconception all the way to postpartum, including abortion doula if necessary. So you have a lot of clients that come in that just want to get prepared to have the baby.
You know it is. I think they should have some grits. Don't have that grits.
Cortez is not just worried about the impact of the bans on healthcare, but also on the foster care system.
It affects the entire system. The foster care system is not prepared. There are birthing people that don't want their children. Either you're going to be leaving the state or trying to get abortions elsewhere, but marginalized folks don't have access to money to do that, right? Black and brown folk don't have the money to do that, don't have the access to do that. And so now you're stuck with the extra mouth to feed. Guess where the baby goes? In the foster care system. Do you want to go with daddy?
Cortez has lived experience of this. Right now, she's fostering a baby boy who has serious medical conditions. The mother is pregnant again, and Cortez has been called on by the authorities to foster the unborn child.
It's just a cycle. And my husband said to me 2 days ago, so what's gonna happen if she just keep having kids?
You know that her unborn child right now will be taken from her.
Yeah. When does it end? Right? When do our systems work together? I thank God for the support. My husband and my nephew. Here is a Black boy with all of these medical issues and a mother, a Black mother, that is struggling to just live life, and systems of oppression that cannot even give her what she needs.
Cortez and the Southern Birth Justice Network are fighting the impact of the ban in their clinics.
I have 2 constituents in my district who are living with the very real consequences of the bill that we passed.
Florida State Senator Lauren Book is taking that fight to the legislature. A survivor of child abuse and gang rape herself, Lauren Book is concerned about the impact of Florida's abortion ban on victims of rape and incest.
We went to an evangelical convention and they said you shouldn't punish the unborn child for the crimes of a rapist. What would you say to that?
I don't think that I can say it on television. Are you allowed to curse on your documentary?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you to tell a woman who has lost everything, every bit of control? Because that's what assault and sexual violence is about, power and control. You have taken everything from a woman, everything. When you rape her, assault her, impregnate her, and then take away her ability to decide what happens to her future. Who the fuck are these people? What the fuck are they thinking?
Lauren is now campaigning for a new constitutional amendment, Amendment 4, that would allow women to have the right to decide what happens to their bodies. It will be on the ballot in the November election.
I have spent time in the reddest of red portions of my state, the independents, and in the bluest of blue places. And I know that the people of this state of Florida believe that they have gone too far.
If it goes bad, it goes bad, but if it goes good, then one more vote, right? Yeah.
It's a friendly conversation. How did that go?
So good. So good.
Okay.
Obviously, he said he was pro-life. Yeah, he's pro-life, but he doesn't want men. He doesn't want men to have a say, and that it should be the woman's decision. Yes. Which is why we're reaching across the aisle, because everyone needs medical freedom. Yes.
On our way back from Miami, we get a call from Choice's clinic to say a patient travelling for an abortion wants to speak to us. She's also flying in from Florida.
Hi, nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Bel.
It's complicated. Multiple funds have had to pay for this. Rebecca, Choice's social worker, has to make several phone calls at the last minute to ensure it can all go ahead.
You know, I did a knee-jerk decision and I'm a single mom. I know what that feels like. I don't want to do it again with another knee-jerk decision. You know, I'm a full-time student. I have daycare costs, school costs for my kids, housing costs. And not a lot of people like to admit parenthood is hard. That's the hardest hood that you could ever be a part of, you know what I mean?
I would like to see the rage after Dobbs, which I call that rage sacred fuel, and just fire up in people's hearts and minds so that they understand the responsibility to keep their own freedoms is really on each individual's back.
I am Laura Andreessen, and I'm running in House District 63. I did not think I was going to be a politician. Was not anywhere in my realm of reality. But the past 2 years have inspired me, and I feel the same way. I was called to do this.
I think we'll continue to fight at a legislative level. If we can flip some seats in this state, we can put a dent in the supermajority. And so that's why I really, really hope that people can come out and vote and we save our democracy, save our country.
It made me so mad at politicians because I'm like, so you not only took my kid away, but now you're like making me go through this horrible hospital stay of me just like sitting here not eating, not drinking, and like feeling the worst I've ever felt my entire life. Like, why would you do that to someone? Like, I had no idea what they were doing to people when they passed these laws.
I did make the decision to not have any more kids, which did force me into getting my tubes removed, which is very hurting for me because I did want more kids. I am terrified to go through all of that all over again. And I'm scared that I might not make it that second time. I have to tell myself every day, stay strong and continue to fight, because you're not just fighting for yourself, you're fighting for someone else who is too scared to speak up.
And my motto and my mission is always to give people the skills and the tool sets to be change agents for their own environments. Everybody has a story. Everybody's story may not be the same. The key is, how do you navigate your story? And sometimes that takes holding hands. That literally takes having that conversation and asking people, what do you want the outcome to be here?